Yay, we're in. We're in. Say hi. Let me know where you're from. If you've never hung out with us before on YouTube on Sunday nights, welcome. I hope you come and hang out with us more often. And actually, this Christmas Eve, we're actually going live for we usually do about 3 hours. I put on a mincemeat mukbang, right? Where I'll eat a whole mincemeat pie, or try to anyway. During the course of my life, I open up a stocking my sister puts together for me every year, and I just spend an evening with my cat and some of these people who like to hang out with me on Sunday nights, and they honor me with their presence every year. I'm so lucky to have such amazing people, and here's two of them right now, Owen and Andrew, popping in on the lives. And again, for those of you who come in later to my lives, I know I get a lot of my views after I go live. These are my main guys here, Andrew and Owen. I have a whole bunch of guys who come in and help moderate, but these two have been with me for years and years. The most amazing conversationalists. They really care about people, right? And very understanding and having their own life experiences too, that they seem to fit in with everybody who pops in. And you'll get to meet some of these amazing characters who come in and hang out with us on Sunday night. We're all different, right? All of us are different, and yet at the same time, we all get along and we use our values because, just a good way for different kinds of people to hang out. I kind of hold a majority rule kind of platform here, I guess, right? But I've never had any problems, never ever, and we have had some amazing deep conversations going on here. We've actually had some fun. We've actually had pajama parties, and again next week coming up really fast. Friday night, guys. Christmas Eve is on Friday, right? I do believe so. I'm going to check the calendar to make sure, but Christmas Eve on the 24th from 7 p.m. Central till usually around 10 o'clock. We go for as long as we can, but we just like to get together. And lots of us are people that just hang out on our own for the most part. But we are social, and we do understand community, and this is our community that we put together here on Sunday nights. And we have, wow, the range in topics is so different. Cindy practices mindset and mindfulness, so for a lot of the live, I go off and I just do my own thing, and Owen and Andrew and Melvin and Kathy and Nancy and right? Oh my goodness, so many people, and they come in and hang out with me. But how have you guys been doing tonight? Oh, and there's Kathy. How have you guys been doing this week? My throat is really scratched. I don't know what I did to it, but I'm just just talking about. I'm a bit of a broken mess this week. Oh my goodness, look at this bruise that I got. Look at that. Have you ever seen anything like that? That is like the scariest bruise I have ever had in my entire life. And that's just one of those moments at work when you bang into something, you go, ow, and then you just carry on. But when I looked at my arm yesterday, I just couldn't believe it. It's like somebody's been jabbing me with needles for a few days, right? But yeah. See, that's what I was just saying, Andrew. When you get stabbed with a lot of needles and stuff, and I'm not quite sure how I get it. I do remember this week hitting something really good. Well, I always hitting something. Like last week, it was my forehead. Oh my goodness! But this week, I whacked my arm doing something, and it hurt. It hurt in the moment, but it wasn't anything that I couldn't deal with. And in fact, I was at work, so you have to carry on with the job, right? So I just carried on. But yeah, the next morning, I guess when I was getting ready for work, I noticed it was bruising up. And by midday, it took up my whole arm. So I suspect now, because I haven't gotten bruises before, that it's going to, when it starts healing, it's going to start even getting uglier, right? Because the net goes purple and it goes yellow, right? For bruises. Yeah. I ding myself every now and again, but that was a pretty good bruise. But you would think that I would remember. I remembered I was at work, right? I do remember that much, that I was at work, but for the life of me, I don't know what I did, right? I banged it on a shelf or something. I was doing something. And sometimes when I'm at work, I tend to just keep going, right? That's just my nature, to stay active. And I appreciate the job. I like my job. It gives me something to ground in, right? It gives me something to ground in. And the customers are absolutely lovely. How many boxes of chocolates did we get this week? Just people popping in, buying us box of chocolates, wishing us Merry Christmas, giving us cards. One mother and daughter, they come in about once a month. They came in and they brought in like 10 Tim Hortons coffees and a couple of boxes of donuts. And there's like a dozen donuts in those. Very expensive, right? But, very grateful and very nice. And, that's when Christmas, and when we talk about different denominations and different religions and everything, and we understand that Christmas, for the most part, is a kind of a Christian holiday. But for me, it's always been about friends and family, right? It's always been about friends and family and that closeness. And I just wish that we could just do a little bit more for each other that way, and not have grateful to have Christmas, because at least we have something, right? And we do have these celebrations, right? We have Thanksgiving, we have Remembrance Day. What do you call it in the States? Veterans Day? Yeah. Oh, Nancy's here too. Hi, Nancy. Yeah, I'm interested in see the bruise is it's not really sore. Like if I rub it, I can feel it, right? But I'm not standing here rubbing my shoulder all the time. So for the most part, I don't even notice it until I look at it, and then I just even freak myself out and I go, "Holy cow, Cindy, what did you do to yourself?" Right? But if you don't really hurt, then just broken blood vessels, I think, under the skin. I think that's all that is. Oh, but 100% Nancy. Merry Christmas to everybody. For sure. Christmas week. We're 7. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Less than a week. Yeah, this year has moved, hasn't it? It's been a quickening. If you really look at it, I'm trying to think even a year ago what I've accomplished in the past year. I know I accomplished lots, but you look back on it, unless you write it down somewheres or make note or have it reflected in somebody's conversation or something, it's really hard to take in all that you really, and it's a good thing to do, right? Because lots of times, just like that, we don't notice the changes that we make, when we move forward and we do a little bit better for ourselves, or we accomplish a little bit. We don't take notice of these things. But if you just pull yourself back, like over a course of a year, and then look at it as a year and say, oh, what were the changes then you can really see the difference. You really can see the difference. I can see what I've accomplished, right? Where was I sitting, you guys, 1 year from now? Do you remember that? Do you remember how sad and scary it was a week before Christmas, coming home from work every day, not even knowing if I had an apartment, or if they took my cat or took all my furniture or broke into my locker and claimed everything, right? I didn't even have any money to pay my rent. I lapsed on my credit cards. I was trying to be a good employee, And it was very important that I kept this job because I had wrapped my self-worth and my sense of moving forward into getting that job and going, and then also having that on me to take into consideration the mentorship that I'd gotten, the organization who was getting government funding, right? But part of that funding depended on whether or not I could keep that job, right? So the more people that would keep the job for a year, their funding and then their jobs would be saved at the same time. So it was important for me to represent the mentorship that I had gotten at all the time. But at the same time, I was working my brand too. Remember? I went live every single day. I was doing long written posts, and I'm remembering how difficult they were to do those posts because I'm doing those posts right now. And that's actually the plan because we got to be thankful for my sister Alice, who came downstairs and said, "Oh, Cindy, are you doing your live tonight?" And I said, "No, I do them during the day." I don't, it's Sunday. I says, "I got to do my live in 15 minutes." But because I took these extra shifts at work and these extra hours at work, that I work today, right? And normally Sundays is a day off. And I go lives on Sunday evenings after having a nice day off and getting things done and working on the laundry and stuff. And yet today, you got me exhausted coming home from work and almost forgetting that I was meant to come live tonight. But that was again, like I was talking about, the serendipities and the coincidences, and how things just kind of sort of work out. She came down 15 minutes before I was supposed to go live, and I wouldn't have come live, you guys. It hadn't even crossed my mind that my live was tonight in honest truth, right? And she came down, she goes, "Cindy, are you going live today? Because I was wondering if you wanted to drive me to my Christmas party." She looked so cute in her Christmas outfit too. Really adorable, right? But she's off to her staff Christmas party. We had our staff Christmas party last night. We had Chinese food. Do you guys have Christmas parties at your work or with your community churches, right? I know with the COVID and stuff that there's that possibility because of the restrictions on how many people you can have around you and stuff. Yeah, our family Christmas get together kind of fell through because my sister decided that she wanted to do Christmas the same way as she did it yesterday. So be it, right? For me, celebration will be having Christmas Day, getting up in the morning, right? Having whatever treats are left over from the night before. I'm getting a turkey from one of my sisters for a Christmas present. So I'll ask her Christmas Eve to take it out of the freezer so that I can cook it on Christmas morning. So I should pick up a can of cranberries. I never even thought of that. So I'll pick up a can of cranberries and a bag of frozen peas because that's the kind of Christmas dinner I like. Turkey, mashed potatoes and gravy, cranberry sauce, and frozen peas. Yum. That's the perfect Christmas. Actually, turkey dinner is actually my favorite meal. I don't know what your favorite meals are, but no question, even those Christmas meals when I was a kid and they're big gobs of mashed carrots and turnips on my plate, right? Christmas dinner was always the best dinner. Yeah, I could eat white breast turkey all day long. I love turkey. And then my second favorite meal, and surprisingly I haven't had it in a few years because it's not good for me, but I love it. And that's pancakes. I love pancakes, but I haven't had pancakes in years, right? It's part of the reason why that I'm able to keep some of this weight off. I haven't gotten on a scale in a couple of weeks because I've been kind of bad in the treats and stuff. People are bringing treats. Like I said, we got 3 boxes of chocolates. Luckily, those boxes of chocolates are still sitting on the staff table. But last night we had Chinese food. I felt so ill. I had eaten so much junk, and one of the girls, her foster mom, she brought in all kinds of beautiful baking, Christmas baking for us. And then one of the ladies at work made us these butter pecan tarts that were just to die for. I ate them. 5 of them. She made us, each of us, 5 of them. She put them in these little tins. Look at that. She put them in these 5 tarts. She put in each one of these tins, and they were just perfectly fitting. And each of our names was on the mailbox like that. And she gave each one of these. And these came into the store, right? These some store closed or something, and we got all their stock, right? So she got a ton of these. And what a beautiful way to dress up treats. And lots of our customers are coming into the store too, and they're buying containers and the tin cans and the cookie jars and the bowls, and they're being very, very creative in the gift giving this year. I'm just going to go back and read some of those comments there. But yeah, thank you, Nancy. Merry Christmas again, everybody. Yes, 100%. And I hope you guys, wow, Mary Kay made it tonight. Beautiful. Thank you, Mary Kay. Did anybody get their Christmas cards yet? I sent Christmas cards out to everybody. Somebody here in the city, she came in to visit me in the store. And I know my sister got her Christmas card, and another couple of people in the city got their Christmas card, but she hasn't gotten her Christmas card. I almost feel like mailing another one to make sure. But let me know as you get your Christmas cards. Let me know if you've got them. I would like to know that they got to you. Oh, okay. Be patient. Be patient. I mailed them off. They're Canadian kind of style. And I like that. Over the course of the year, we have some amazing Christmas card boxes come into the store. And I take my time, and I'm really patient, and I pick the most perfect gift cards for Christmas that come across. Oh, today somebody donated the most beautiful cards, and it turned into such a big hassle. We were having such a good day at work and everything. I might as well tell the story because I kind of feel guilt and shame, and at the same time I don't, right? Because I got to be headstrong in it. But I had a customer come in, and I was doing packages of these Christmas cards, and I make little packages, and I put $2, $3, $4 on them, depending on the cards or how many I'm putting in the package. And I was working on them, and I went to do something, and I came back for my project, and one of our regulars had all my cards and wanted to buy 4 cards and wanted them at 50% off. And he's always getting deals, always, right? We always give him great deals. I said, I had them all separated for my packages. Those packages are $4 each because they're Charlie Brown, and they were really nice, right? They're Charlie Brown. And plus he's going to get 50% off of them because it's Christmas, right? So he get those packages for $2 each, which is a really great price, right? But he's haggling at me, right? Right, because he wants to pay his 25 cents a card. He has 4 cards, which was $1. Then he wanted his 50% off because it was Christmas. He wanted those 4 beautiful cards for 50 cents, and already I had them all packaged. I says, no, we can't do that. If you want one of the packages, they're $4 each. I'm doing them right now, and I stapled them all together, and I took the cards and I made little packages. And then he says, well, I'll take that one you just dressed up. And I says, oh, okay, here you go. There's an extra envelope because there was one envelope extra. And then he looks at me and he starts saying something to me. And I said, what did I say to him? I said, we give you some really good deals here, dear. It's unfair that you're haggling and you're upset because you're not getting a deal this time. It's a fair price. It's a good deal, right? And I was so polite and everything. And he just grabbed his cards, paid for them, and he walked out the door. And then he comes back and he's like, rah, 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 and he's like complaining about me. And I'm just like, you're never getting any. I didn't say it to him, but in my head, I'm thinking, I'm never giving him another deal. When he says, will you take $3 on an item that's $6? The answer will be no. It's just the way it is. I won't give him any deals because he doesn't appreciate the deals that he does get. And I thought it was very unkind, especially when I've treated him so good in the store. But that's what happened today. But I let it bother me, but I didn't say anything through the whole process. I didn't even open up my mouth. I just let him do his thing. And then I just said that one piece, that's unfair for you. But you get a lot of good deals. And one like this, you get a lot of good deals. Don't be unappreciative, right? Yeah. But it bothered me, right? So I felt guilt and I felt shame, and I'm still trying to, right? But this is what empaths do. This is what sensitives do. When people get upset and angry with them, they will tear themselves apart, and they'll feel bad and they'll feel guilty and they'll feel shame, right? And those are exactly the kind of feelings that start to surface in me. But I got to remember, I'm 50-50, right? My dad was an empath. My mother was a narcissist. I had the extremes on both ends. I think I'm fair. I think I'm balanced. And I think, it was very fair of me to say, no, you're not getting a deal this time on this. You can pay this price, right? I hadn't even priced it yet. So why is it even in your hands? Is what I'm thinking, right? So I think so, Mary Kay. I'm going to go get tested tomorrow. I have no choice. I feel that I have a cold. I might have burnt my throat. It's really cold outside. I have been working extra hours. Um and I'm tired, but maybe I'm tired because I have a cold. Yeah, it is in my voice, and I have been coughing, and yeah, my voice isn't sore anymore, but I do notice that it sounds a little bit different too. But yeah, I'm gonna go get tested tomorrow to be on the safe side, to make sure. I just kept it extra safe, just stayed on my own basically for the day, but I had no choice. I had to finish off my day at work. Oh, yeah, but we have to understand that. And I say that all the time. 80% of the people that you come in contact with, that you have interactions with, and Heather, this is to your what you said there, and I so appreciate that. But 80% of people will be decent with you, right? But 20% of people, oh, say 10% of the people won't care for you very much, but they'll just kind of sort of ignore you, whatever, right? But 10% of people will just absolutely dislike you, right? Will not like you, will get angry with you on a dime, or push your buttons because they know how to push your buttons, right? But say out of that 10% that don't like you, 8% of those people have values. They practice mindset. They love God. They practice. They'll keep their mouth shut, right? The other 2%, that's the 2%, right? That we're talking about today, right? And we just have to understand that it's not necessarily them. It's just our souls don't rub each other well. And sometimes I think sometimes that, it's just something in another life, right? Maybe we were in wars together. Maybe we were on opposite side. Maybe one of us killed the other, right? Because I do believe that we are, well, not Cindy's reincarnated, but Cindy's soul is reincarnated. Like, this is a soul's journey. I do believe that the soul is reincarnated life after life, and what we do with that life and what we realize by it. Sometimes we wake up in the life, sometimes we don't wake up in the life. Sometimes it's dictated that we're not going to wake up. Sometimes it's dictated that we will wake up. Sometimes others dictate whether or not you wake up, just through the traumas and the experiences that we have. Sometimes we wake up a little crooked because of that, and this is what I want to work at, because I think that this is why the world is so traumatized right now. I really feel that the world is emotionally traumatized as a whole, and I think it's just from the beatings from one life after another. Yeah, yeah, and people can be bad at that. And I've learned, to see it, and even as a child or a teenager, or as a young adult, even mature, I've always seen it, right? I've always been able to look at something and go, nah, that's not right, or, oh, that's amazing. And I give credit for absolute both, right? For both. I'm just reading these comments. But yeah, 2% of people, and I just attribute it to them as they didn't do much in their evolving in their last life, right? So they're doing last year's lessons this year. We did them already, but we don't want to go back to that life. We don't want to hang out with those people, because we got to remember that we are like the 5 people that are most closest to us, the people that we hang out with together all the time, right? And this is the way that I was taught, and I 100% believe it, because I knew how I grew up. I know how I think, right? And I realized it was my upbringing, right? It was my mother's lessons to me, my father's lessons to me, life's lessons to me, whoever's or whatever's, right? Because his finger's in that bowl too. Believe me, he's dictating my life still, right? And for me not even to realize it. Yeah, I'm glad at least now I have an opportunity, right, to move myself forward, because I could have stayed awake. And then those people that yell and get upset with us and say those mean things, right? I might have missed my lessons very close, right? 50, 57 years old. In that span, I could have gotten in an accident, had a heart attack, died of diabetes, chosen not to have that gastric bite, that stomach stapling, and ended up with diabetes or issues because of the weight, right? And I could have died and not moved myself forward, except how I was naturally inclined. Because as a human, we're going to evolve naturally with that part of evolution that is innovation that happens through generations and generations. But you got to look back at the progress over the past 150 years, how far we've moved along, right? So anybody could do great strides in moving forward right now. Great strides, right? Like I'm learning new things every single day. Oh, Mary Kay. Isn't that something? By grown adults, I'm going to assume, Mary Kay, that's got to be absolutely heartbreaking, especially when you got a job to do, especially when you've got other patients that need your time and need your attention. And number one, you've got to take that time to get yourself all cleaned up. Number two, you've got to bring yourself down because you've just gone through a traumatic, heartbreaking, disgusting, degrading kind of experience. So that takes a moment and more. Sometimes I didn't even think a moment would be enough for something like that, right? That you would have to be able to bring yourself down so that you could be able to go back and get back to your job and do it in a way where your patients don't know how upset and the experience that you actually have had, right? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. We've all had those experiences 100%, but I think it's just because they haven't evolved. They haven't spent their life in any kind of lessons at all. They don't live by their values, right? That we just have to I don't know, forgive them, right? To forgive them and understand them for that. Just not, they're just not evolved, right? And that's what I do quite often, right? They're just not there yet, right? And there's lots of things that I'm not involved in. And like I said, I might not have woken up to any of these ideas about God and chances of making a better life for myself, or setting goals and achieving goals and entrepreneurship and learning marketing online and learning about communication and learning about if the people around me don't like me. That doesn't mean that there aren't people out there who will like me. Get online, Cindy. And that's what I did. I came online and started building my brand, and I pivoted and changed and moved along with it. And look what I've ended up with. Friends, right? Friends. This is amazing. I think this Sunday night is absolutely the most amazing place where people can actually connect, where people can actually realize that they matter, that they make a difference, right? Right? Like, where would I be without Owen and Andrew in there? Because Cindy has only got a half eye on those comments and stuff, because I'm staring at the thing, and I better take a sip of my coffee because, like I said, my throat is raw and I have to go in and get that test, right? I'm not sure what the symptoms are, but I think having a sore throat and coughing is enough to go in and get tested, right? And it's the right thing to do, right? Because I do not be responsible for anybody getting sick, and I can be as careful as I want to be. But if it is something that may spread and cause somebody illness, I don't want to be that person to be responsible for that, because I do believe in cause and effect. I do believe in cause and effectiveness. Like I said, as careful as I can be, right? That there is always a moment where I'm going to touch a doorknob or touch a product, putting products on the shelf and stuff, right? Because germs can hold on to these items for a while. So yeah, we're going to do what's right. So tomorrow we're going to see where there's a walk-in clinic where I can actually go in and get tested, right? But we'll see about that tomorrow. And this is one thing also that I can be grateful for, that I live on my own, that I live a life on my own. I don't have time. I don't have time for friends and socials, and right. And I do make that time for myself, but that's my bag at the end of the stick, right? I'm going to go on my vacation. I'm going to go on. I'm going south. We're going to maybe go to the East Coast and go south. I'm going to go to maybe New York. I'm maybe going to go to Florida. And then I'm going to come back through the middle of North America, all the way back to, and I'm going to take a couple of weeks for my next trip. It's going to be lots of fun. Let me just come in. Oh, Norm's here tonight. Wow, Norm, hi, Dave. Wow, awesome. Lots of people that I haven't seen for a while. Yeah, see, but that's where my problem is, Andrew. I'm looking at comment at time 8:01. Andrew is saying, I'd say the lesson to be learned from rude, angry people is what kind of person not to be, right? And I agree with that 100%. But my problem is it's not that I'm argumentative. I'm not argumentative in the least. If I'm wrong, I have no problems, no qualms at all. Eating and biting that one and apologizing if need be, course correcting, right? When things are proven to be untrue in the way that I'm thinking, right? But I believe when somebody does something wrong, that they shouldn't be allowed to walk away from that. That's turn the other cheek, isn't it? And you know how what Cindy thinks about turning the other cheek, and I don't believe in turning the other cheek. And I think because we're empaths and we're highly sensitives, that we tend not to speak up when wrongs are done to us, right? But I have to remember, right? That empath in me, that narcissistic parent, right? They gave me gifts, right? They gave me resilience. They gave me, it's not judgment, but it's it's the balance. What do you call that? The scales, right? And like I said at the beginning of my life, where I can see the rights and wrongs, and I could say, oh, that's messed up, and oh, that's fantastic, and actually 100% believe in it because it's true. It's because I can see it, right? Because I see the extremes of both ends, the highs, the lows, the light, the dark, the right, the wrong, right? And because I have that trait, I think I have this belief that people shouldn't be allowed to trample on people, to make people feel guilt and shame, and be able to walk away, just to walk away after doing that to somebody. Like, right, Mary Kay, can I use your experience with the feces being thrown at your face? That person would have gotten a lesson, right? I wouldn't have scared them, but I would have given them something to think about. They would not have been allowed to get away with something like that. I don't know how you handled that, Mary Kay. I don't know if you would be interested or willing to share how you handled that situation, or if you already did in the comments. I'm going to look back in a second, but I am somebody that doesn't believe in turning the other cheek. Turning the other cheek was brought to my attention as something that was put into place. It was something, and it's taken from the Sermon of the Mount. This is the saddest part of it. Mankind, right, did this, not the Bible, not Jesus, not any of the disciples or anybody who wrote the books. Man did this, right, to suit their fancy. And turn the other cheek is part of the Sermon on the Mount, because I Googled it. I wanted to know about it because I was very angry about turning the other cheek, because it allows people to do it to somebody else because they got away with doing it to you, right? Turning the other cheek doesn't serve anybody except the person who doesn't need or want the retribution, or to see in himself the person that he's become because of what he's done or said, right? So turning the other cheek, and again, I call people on things, right? I make sure that they notice what they've done, right? Kind of like what I did today, right? I took it for a long time, didn't say anything, let them haggle, right? But if you're going to be rude and you're going to be unappreciative of the kindnesses that come your way, and then have a moment because we're not catering to your desire for an extra dollar savings in your pocket, right? We are a charity, right? That money goes to help employ people with emotional, social, economical, right? Maybe they're minorities. Anybody who's in truly need of a job and is having difficulties in being able to establish one, just like I did, right? You're taking from that. And not to come back to that, but I'm saying that person could not have left the store without me saying something, right? Without me letting him know, because he just needs to be reminded of all the kindnesses and all the deals that not only the managers give him, but I give him and other employees give him, because he asks for a deal. Because in a culture where he's from, haggling is the norm, right? In lots of countries, bartering and haggling is the norm. Here in Canada, we don't haggle. It's embarrassing. I don't like it. I never haggle about anything ever. I have never said, "Oh, you take $1 for that?" If it's $1.25, no, you don't do that. The price tag's on it. That's the price, right? They're really, haggling is for big pieces of furniture. So if you go to buy a car, yes, you can haggle a little bit. But even then, there are ceilings to how much you can haggle, right? Before it starts cutting into employees' wages and commissions and company profits. So Yeah, it turn the other cheek is never a good thing. So let me go in here and just see what Mary Kay had to say, if she wanted to say anything about that. Yeah, I can't believe that, Mary Kay, for a kind person like you, right? And hopefully they're not malicious. Well, they were in the moment they're malicious, but hopefully they're in high on morphine or whatever uh painkillers that they're giving for their situations, and they're not just doing it because they're just mean, spiteful people, right? We understand when people are high on drugs and when they're drunk, right? They kind of tend to often sway this way in their actions, right? This is why it's important, right? If you're not that person, why are we hanging out? And it's funny because lots of my friends were like that, but I think it's because I was so grateful to have friends, right? I was just grateful to have friends, and they were kind to me for the most part. And I didn't recognize if they got something out of those relationships, and I'm sure they did, but I got out of them too. And it wasn't transactional. I truly did love them all. And we all kind of sort of took care of each other, but we all brought something different to the table. But at the same time, they had problems too. I had problems. Mine was food, right? I'd go and eat all of my cheese. I was 300 pounds. I was a big girl. But they like to drink their beers. You wouldn't find me spending money on beer, because that would take away from the money I could spend on food, right? I also gambled. I like those video lottery terminals, those machines where you put the money in and play poker and different lottery slots and stuff. I like doing that, and I haven't touched those machines in over 2 years. Not even touched a machine in over 2 years now. So proud of myself. I never so much as play a lottery ticket anymore. And I know the universe wants to give me abundance, and that would be the easiest way for them to give it to me. But no, it's not going to be through a lottery. I'm not winning money through a lottery. I want to earn every single penny that I bring in, right? Okay, so anyway, back to those comments here. I got trailed off. Oh, okay. So you can do it fast, so you can strip fast. Oh, it's funny though, because in my operations, even the gastric bypass, I had them take me off of everything within 2 days. I was off of everything. But those first 2 days, oh my goodness, I never experienced so much pain in my entire life. I thought my whole back was going to explode for it was about 3 weeks. I was in the hospital for about 3 weeks with that operation. I didn't realize it was going to be so nasty. But yeah, I have 100% faith in the medical system. I'm not one of those people. I trust doctors, right? And they did me a service, right? I'm sitting here now, no diabetes. There's no chance that diabetes is ever going to get me. And my grandmother had diabetes. I have a sister with diabetes. I have two sisters with diabetes, right? Nice to see you here, Norm. I saw your comments. Oh my goodness. That's beautiful, Mary Kay. Oh, and they slap you too? Oh my goodness. And that's why I say we have to take care of ourselves. We have to watch out for ourselves. Like it's a strange world out there. And I think, right, that lots of people, they get lost in these things that calm the nervous system, but they don't pick good things to calm their nervous system, right? All I can say is I'm very grateful that I found my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel got me off of the gambling because I didn't have time. I was so busy with working my brand. I didn't have time to gamble. And if I had money, right, just like I said when I was gambling, that I would never buy beer because that money that I would buy beer would take away from my food money. Well, I didn't gamble because gambling would take away from the money I needed for my gas tank, for my car, and for my trips, for my urban exploration, for my YouTube channel, right? So it got me off of the gambling, right? But you have to replace, and that's the thing, New Year's resolutions. People are going to be starting their New Year's resolutions on January 31st, but they wouldn't have picked up a new habit to replace the habit that they're going. We were talking about this on my Instagram this week, that how important it is that when you trying to break a habit, a bad habit, right, that you replace it with another habit, a habit hopefully that is better than the habit that you're trying to get rid of. Because we have to remember that the habits that we're trying to break, they serve us, right? They calm our systems down. So in a way, they make us happy. In a way, they keep us calm. They solve an issue, right? So then but they're still bad for us, right? Pink ice donuts with sprinkles, they're still bad, but they bring me joy. I can feel happy in the moment. They'll calm my system down if I'm stressed, if I'm taking in some big information that I have to really concentrate on. Sitting here and eating makes a job a whole lot more enjoyable and takes away from that stress that I'm going to get distracted by something else, right? So it is technically, if you think about it, what you're trying to break in your New Year's resolution, you truly do love, right? It does help you. So that is why we have to bring on a second habit. And that's why people quite often, when they do diets, they do exercise because they're bringing on exercise as the good habit, a new habit, but it's something new that they can get addicted to, right? But if you don't have something that you can throw yourself into in an interest, if you have these New Year's resolutions, you won't be able to keep them. You'll fall off your diets, you'll break your promises to yourself, and there's nothing worse than breaking a promise to yourself. Again, that guilt and shame, and right, the way we talk to ourselves, right? We do that. But at the same time, we just have to remember that with New Year's resolutions, as we get rid of things, we add things to the plate, right? We're taking away one bad habit. We have some space. So what are you going to fill that space up? A good habit, right? Maybe it's reading. Instead of eating, I can pick up a book and read. Probably not. It's not. I like my YouTube videos. I love my books too, but for reference. And I picked up a few more books, really good ones, really, really, really expensive university manual type books, all on emotions, all about the topics and mindset and mindfulness and the things that I'm interested in, the things that I think that are going to be a great benefit to the world, right? And I want to be good at it, right? Because then I know who out there that are doing the good job, that I know that I'll be able to well, get them steered in the right directions, right? Because everybody's going to have different people, different thought leaders, depending on your dreams, what you want to do. And I say, if you're too old to dream, if you don't want to dream, you've done everything you want to, dream for your next life, right? Because that's the one you get to create. Seriously, I'm grateful that whoever had this one, and it was hopefully my father, because my father was creating, right? But I don't think so. I think my dad is out there somewhere, is living an amazing life, and he's expanding on the lessons that he learned. But I've learned my own lessons throughout my life too. So and even in these next past few months, or not past few months, these past few years, all that information that I've taken on and then showing up every single day, right? But it's a lot of juggle. And this whole conversation just all came from the fact that I said that sometimes we don't notice the change until we look back. And how long we've been talking this way? Oh my goodness, an hour already. But and that's true. We have to remember that it's truly about right now, in all honesty, right? Being able to live that you live the life that you want to live, be able to not feel bad about it, right? Knowing that you're getting, for the most part, you would like to think, right? But all of us are stumbling along. But I'm very grateful that I happened onto the idea of how messed up emotionally the world has become, how traumatized everybody is just through whatever experience it is. Maybe it's just in this generations, all that this past 100 years has evolved. Maybe it's the digital age and how much information that we're taking in. I think a lot of it too is people are seeing experiences that other people are having in different places in the world. And I think resentment is being built up because, that out of sight, out of mind, if you don't know about what's going on, you're not really missing it. You're just sleeping through it, right? You don't see the catastrophes, but you don't see the goods either. But in a digital age, that through just Googling something, you can get all the information you need on something. We're all stumbling over each other to give out information. And then for people to realize what they did with their life, right? That they could become a little bit resentful. What's kind of examples is maybe somebody living in a third world country that's never experienced electricity or running water. Maybe their whole family, maybe a couple of family lives in one room. But this is the way it's always been for them and everybody in their community in generations after generations, right? But the digital age comes along and they're pushing phones at everybody, and they get their hands on a cheap phone, and now they're doing YouTube and Googling and Instagram, and they get to see the world for the way it really is, and they see how little they actually have, or where their mindset is, and then they feel bad. And then not only do they feel bad, that anger can surface because they've been blinded of possibilities, right? We live in a digital age right now. Everybody has an equal chance, right? The small man has a voice right now. You can pick up your phone and you can do exactly what I do if you wanted to put that time and the effort and your heart into it, right? You could do what I want to do. I just kind of pulled and directed, and right. And I believe this is a bit of a calling for me, right? And I get so much out of it for myself, right? Like, remember what I said, that you can live in your own community for your whole life, live the same way, not realize that there's something more out there for you, right? And yeah, I'm very grateful for our Sunday nights, 100%. Mm. I am a big Googler, and that's a good point that you bring up, Mary Kay, about talking to doctors, seeing professionals, getting somebody who's actually been schooled and actually understands, right? Because there's so many people out there that think that they're experts, and not only think that they're experts, right? Some of them are really closed off, that they only trust themselves. They only believe in the answers that they can search out. So lots of people self-diagnose. That's a really good point, Mary Kay. Lots of people, I used to do that lots too, self-diagnose, find out what's going on. And I diagnosed myself with all kinds of silly things, right? Just to find out that they were something else, right? Like my tinglings in my hand, right? Like said, oh, maybe that's nerve damage just because I don't drink enough water, right? When in reality, it's just something trying to get my attention, right? Or I've slept on it and cut off the circulation. And then our minds go wild with this information just from a Google, right? Yeah, great advice, 100%. But yeah, on Google, and maybe I could use myself as a bit of an example too, because the world is so vast. There is so much information out there. There is so much kinks in reality. I stick for the majority. That's the key word. Majority rules. What's the mass going with? What's the mass doing? Is the mass going with the vaccination? Because if the mass is going with the vaccination, I'm getting the vaccination, right? This is how I work, because I truly believe that each and every one of us is here to do our part and to contribute our part into making the best human beings we could possibly be, right? I don't even think we're close. I think, right, we're getting closer because look how far we've come in the last 150 years compared to the 150 years before that and the 150 years before that. But the more we learn, the smarter we get, the more our brains are becoming like computers, right? I think it's important for us to remember how human we are, right? That we actually, right, like what we do here on Sunday nights, even though lots of us, we live lives on our own, right? That we spend a lot of our time. We have a new girl at our work. She's a caregiver. She took care of her mother. Her mother just passed away. She's looks like she's in her mid 40s. I never asked her age, but she's a lovely, lovely lady, and she works really, really, really hard, right? Really lovely lady. I really like her. And she gave so much of her life, never had an opportunity to get married or have babies or anything, and she dedicated her life to her mother. Her mother passed away. Her mother left her the house, so she got the house. She gave the house to her nephew because it was just her, and her nephew had a wife and kids and everything. So she gave the house to her nephew. Huge. But she wants to live her own life. She wants to make her own money. And this is her very technically her very first job. And she's putting her, oh, they couldn't have dropped her in a better place. I was so excited. I just ready to go to work. And you won't even know what's going on, right? Just by being her friend, just by getting to know her, just being supportive of each other, right? And that's what community is all about. But how we form community is up to us. As long as we form community, sometimes we have to adapt and we have to conquer because sometimes we're very shy, sometimes we're very introverted, right? Sometimes, admittedly, sometimes maybe we're hard to get along with. Maybe we're stubborn. Maybe we have a little bit of, I don't know, funny ways of thinking. Maybe we have political ideas that rub people the wrong way. Maybe we have religious ideas that you think people might not get, right? But it's important to socialize, it's important to get along. And I love our community because, one of our mission statements is takes all kinds to make the world. So it does take all kinds, and everybody is welcome to come hang out with us and express their ideas, and their ideas be welcomed, right? They don't have to be taken on, right? Anything anybody here says, it doesn't have to be taken on as truth. It's our truths, right? It's our truths. But each one of us has that right. Like, remember what I said? Each one of us as a small man has the opportunity to make a huge difference. Now, if that difference can only be made on Sunday nights, hanging out together, right? That's what we're going to do. Hang out, say our piece. What do they call it? Andrew, you would know this when doctrine, right? I found it myself. I think the word I'm looking for is doctrine. Everybody has the right to express their doctrine, right? And not have it be confrontational. This is where we're working towards, that we can learn from each other's ideas, thoughts, lessons that you got from your family, from your communities, from your religion, your church, right? And be able to express that. And maybe somebody who never experienced that before is getting a hint of it for the very first time and resonate with it with a little bit, right? And be able to find a better way and a better path for themselves. I say, have at her, everybody. This is what my channel is for. Everybody to have a voice. And if you don't have your channel, right? Use mine. I mean, holy man. I wish I could have a counter. I wonder if I've got a counter here. Let me take a look here. No, it's not giving me that option. I was saying I was going to be interested to know. Oh, I can create a poll here. I'm just looking at some of these options that I have right now. Oh, here, let me push this and see what this gives me here. Yeah, I could actually. Oh, and I never do this myself either. So neat. Yeah, it gives me lots of analytics, lots of ideas on what goes on with my channel. But holy moly, look at all these comments. Now I think I'm caught up here to this conversation. And that's 100% true, Heather, is that we do stick to ourselves quite often. And that isn't healthy, right? To shut ourselves off, because then we can't expand, right? And it's because we're in the digital age right now that we're able to reach out and get the information that we need online to help move us forward. But the thing is, we need other people. We need to feel like we're part of a community. I don't know about you guys, right? But I feel I need to be a part of a community. And also having these communities that I have online keeps me online at the same time, keeps me in my path, keeps me in my realm. It also keeps me, again, going back. I got swayed off. We were talking about using me as an example, right? For the information that I get, that there's so much information out there. There are so many topics, so many strange truths out there in the world, some strange ideas. Doesn't mean these ideas are wrong, right? Or even right. It just means there's something I have never experienced before. I never realized that. That's a little bit too much for me to handle, right? So I stay when I'm online, when I'm in my communities, when I'm having conversations. I mean, it's different when I'm with customers because I meet all kinds of people. And that's why I said it takes all kinds to make the world. And this is why we need to feel our way forward by our values. We let people hang around us and we hang around others by using our values, not using our religious ideas, political ideas, our the lessons that we got from our parents growing up, from our teachers in school, because everybody has an opinion, right? Everybody has an idea what you need to be doing with your life, but you're the only person who knows. You're going to resonate with what you resonate, as far as I'm concerned, right? But each of us has our own doctrine. Each of us has our own ideas about things. And each of us stretches a truth, right? And those truths out there do get stretched quite a bit. And we realize this just from what happened with the Bible, how mankind eliminated some of those important prophets, the books and the prophets. The whole Bible did not be finished complete because they omitted some of the books. Now, I'm not again an expert in any way in the Bible. I did go to Sunday school, and I appreciate the heart. Oh, I appreciate Christians, because you know where their values lay, right? Their values lay in the 10 Commandments. Is it 10 Commandments or 12 Commandments? See, but that's how detailed I am not when it comes to the Bible, right? That I have my own ideas about life and death, and that's okay for me. And I'm not going to let myself sway from my ideas because other people might not understand them. Even I don't fully understand some of my ideas, but I understand some of my ideas as 100%. So there's something to it for me. And because I don't resonate with some other aspects of different religions, like I just found out that the Tibetan religions, the Buddha religion, they believe in reincarnation. I didn't even realize that more people believe in reincarnation than believe in other aspects of religion. I know in Christianity, Christian religions, right, denominations, they don't believe, like Christ was the only one who was resurrected, and right, that had these moments, like, it's but I have different ideas, and then I come across other religious ideas that kind of think the same way as me, right? And I go, oh, maybe that's it. But I know I'm not supposed to be taking on. I'm allowed to take the ideas on, but I'm not taking the religions on. I need to be non-denominational. Everybody who comes into my channel needs to feel that I feel them, that I understand them, right? That they are welcome no matter what denominations are. But again, going back to my ideas, right? And using me as an example, I don't sway very far from my interests. I don't anymore. Mother Nature, my brand, right? Mother Nature, my brand, mindset and mindfulness, putting a roof over my head, right? Those are my importance. Everything else is something that I adapt and conquer, that I take on as lessons if they need to be lessons, if I resonate with them. But if I don't resonate with something, I'm going to drop it. I might not ever come back to that topic ever again. And I've done that many, many times. I just, oh, that's phooey, right? Even in some of the subjects and some of the people that work in the same subjects as I do, that work in emotional intelligence or works in moving forward and evolution and stuff. They have their own ideas about things. I don't take away from that, but I appreciate what we have in common. So it gives us something in common as a base to get along with, right? That's all we have to do, is have a commonality with somebody. And I guarantee each and every one of you has some kind of commonality with me, and you equally, right? It might be different things, but equally we see in each other something that we recognize, something that we resonate with, right? And I have to just move my brand that way. I think it's very, very important that everybody realize it's what you resonate with. You're creating what you want to create. You're believing what you want to believe in, right? Not something that somebody else has forced on you, or not some kind of idea that because you want to feel welcomed, or you want to feel like you want to belong, right? That you you join forces with something that isn't you, right? And I'm not going to get suckered. I'm not going to get suckered in that. And just like that gentleman this afternoon who was making a fuss that he had to pay an extra dollar for something, right? And it happens. It happens, right? And I gotta remember that I can let that go. I'm good with how I dealt with that. There was no turning my cheek. There had to be a lesson there because the next time he does it, right? I gave him the lesson. He knew, right? Basically, the lesson was a little bit of a reminder, right? But the next time, it'll be a little bit stronger, maybe, because he didn't get the lesson the first time. Maybe I just let it go altogether and just let karma take care of it. No, right? A lesson needs to be because it was through me. It hurt my feelings. It surfaced my guilt. It surfaced my shame, right? Not everybody else's. He's going to go off and do exactly what he did to me to somebody else because I turned the other cheek and didn't do anything about it. But because I gave him a lesson, right? He's going to think twice before he tries that with me again, right? Maybe it'll take a little bit of while. Maybe he won't talk to me for a few visits. He comes a couple of times a day. He's one of those guys, right? Comes a couple of times a day. He gets good deals, right? But yeah, those deals will come through the manager. He can talk to the manager. Whatever the manager says is good, I'm good. But otherwise, whatever the sticker says, that's what you're going to pay. And I'm the cashier, right? And I got to hold my store up, and I can't have other customers seeing them wheeling, dealing with me. Otherwise, I'll spend my whole day wheeling and dealing with customers. So it's not a matter of being mean about it. It's just like sorting out a policy and a good policy, right? Yeah, it is what it is. I didn't mean to get back onto that, but just using it as an example, right? That we do have to watch out for ourselves. And people are unkind, but they shouldn't be, right? Just like Mary Kay did. Mary Kay called security. So when she called security, well, that person recognized they did something that wasn't right, and they're either going to stumble over their words. More than likely, they're going to blame Mary Kay for whatever the issue is. Of course, it's going to be Mary Kay's fault, right? That's how they work. Or they're going to understand what they did, and they'll have a moment to reflect. And through the goodness, because in their hearts they truly are a good person, but they had a moment that they couldn't control their little demons in them, right? That they'll apologize to you through the heart, right? And I would be good with that. I would be touched with that. And that would confirm to me that I was right in my thinking, that there was a lesson that needed to be learned in that. Yeah, but the thing is, when you cut everything else that you don't need, that's really good, Mary Kate, but leaving yourself open to possibilities of things getting better, right? That's why it's great to let things go when they're old and sour, not working for you the way they are. But when you do that, bring in some good things for yourself, some things that will make you smile. And they might only make you smile for a little while. And they might end up being one of those things that you need to get. What did you call it? Deadwood. It might be that deadwood that you might need to get rid of, right? But we have to leave ourselves open. We have to be aware. And we have to keep our eyes open for the good things, because just as much as the bad things happen, and the bad things that happen, they kind of impact us. They kind of make us feel bad. They kind of make us dwell on them. But why are we so quick to forget the thank yous or the good jobs or that little bit of appreciation, or that smile on somebody's face? Like we totally forget that in 1 second of somebody saying something mean, right? Yeah, and that's the truth too. I know I do that all the time. Oh, I'm going to have my cup of coffee. Is my voice going? I've been talking all day. I was training one of the girls at work. Like, remember I said we hired a new girl. She's just lovely. But I was training. I was doing a lot of explaining, a lot of showing her and training today. I want her to do a good job. I want her to be comfortable, and I want her to learn her job the best that she can, as fast as she can, so that she doesn't feel bad. Because if she's a sensitive, and more than likely she's a sensitive, because I've come to learn that for the most part, most of us at that store are a little sensitive, right? That she won't get battered too hard when the S hits the fan, right? The S hits the fan. Because it does, right? We all get in trouble, and I'm getting better at getting in trouble. And actually, I'm getting less and less and less in trouble. My boss has uh been really good, right? She's getting really good. Cindy, I'm gonna yell at you. So I get a second to prepare for it, right? So my eyes don't bug out and I don't go into trigger mode, because that I do get triggered, right? Because that's part of my triggers, is always feeling that I'm going about to get in trouble, right? These are my triggers, and I feel like this way all the time. For the most part, I can brush it off to the side, right? For the most part, I can. But when these little incidences, like this gentleman this afternoon did that, the guilt and shame surfaces, and you can see how I nibble on it, how I stewed around, how I let it stir around in my brain a little bit, and how it does bring up some of these feelings in me, right? And that's the same thing, how one person can ruin all the good that we've done in the day. And I had a great day today. I met somebody new. I got to do some little bit of training. That's what I like doing, is I like training, and I'm pretty good at it, and I do it pretty thoroughly, and I do it the way my boss wants it, and I do it in the way the person that's training feels comfortable. That's the most important, that they feel comfortable. She felt terrific about her day. At the end of the day, she was really pleased, and yeah, so it went a really, really good day. But all it takes is one stinker, and then all the good things that happened in the day, everything that I did right in that day can be put on the back burner, because I'm stewing on one customer that wasn't happy with me, right? And like I said, we can do this. But this is part of my triggers too. But I have a great boss. When she's gonna tear me a new one, she's gonna start that tearing with the words, "Okay, Cindy, I'm gonna tear you a new one." And then once she said that, I'm good. I'm prepared. I'm ready. Right? I know what she doesn't like. I know what she would accept. I know what she wouldn't accept. She's not into excuses. She just wants the job done properly. And in training this new girl, it's my responsibility to make sure she's trained properly. And I told the new girl, I said, "So I'm going to let you know now, for a couple of weeks, everything you do wrong, I'm going to get in trouble for that. You're not going to hear a word from Pearl. She won't say nothing to you, and she'll just come at me, because I'm training you, right? The way you work, the way you're doing your job is going to reflect in how I'm training you, right? But after 2 weeks, you're all on your own, girlfriend, right? You get in trouble, you do something wrong, you're on your own." But she's really nice. She's going to fit into our family just fine, just fine. And I could go back to 4 days a week, right? I'm putting in just as many hours into my studies. Then also I'm putting into my brand, into my presentation. So I'm equally doing the same hours on working my brand and getting better at what I'm doing, as I'm putting into the actual job that's putting the roof over my head, right? And I'm doing that because my boss is amazing, because my boss gave me a chance, right? That my boss knows my triggers, and she doesn't use it as a weapon for the very first time. Somebody out there is not using what they know about me, what I have offered out on my own accord. And you guys know I offer out lots, right? That they don't take that information and use it. They could easily use it as a weapon. They could keep me in guilt and shame all day long, 5 days a week, right? Every day of my job. And what that does is it puts me in a high stress mode, where I don't become social. I'll concentrate more on the work, get the job done the way the boss wants to do. And then some of that personality, I don't shine as much because I'm concentrating on doing the job that my boss wants, doing it right, doing it the right way. And sometimes, right, that happens. But I'm pretty balanced. Again, I swing both extremes, right? I swing both extremes, and I'm good with that. For the most part, I think I'm very fair. I think I'm very fair. I think I'm for the most part very kind. I think I'm very understanding. I think I'm very understanding. But I'm not without my faults, and I'm not without my moments also, right? And I could be very wrong in the way I dealt with this customer this afternoon. I don't think I was. I think his intent was to make me feel bad, to let me know, right? Why? Because I know this, right? Because this is the way I brought up. I played these games. These games have been played on me my whole life. That I recognize it when I see it, right? And it's my choice whether to say, "Oh well, forgive him, let it slide, turn the other cheek," right? And then they're going to go off and do it to somebody else, or worse off, do it to you again. And it's in that repetitiveness, right? When it happens over and over and over again. And we're not getting that message, because when it keeps happening, when it keeps surfacing, when we keep getting the same message over and over and over again, 100%, right? 100%. That's a message trying to get across to us. And that lesson is very detrimental that we should take. And I was talking about this morning on my Instagram, that we take these lessons in, that we pay attention to these lessons, because if we don't pay attention to these lessons, we're going to get a 360, right? We're going to get spun around, right? If we take the lessons in, when we get spun around, it's not going to hurt so much because we got the lesson. We know what to do when that problem hits. We know how we're going to handle it. But if we didn't take that lesson, we're going to fly by the seat of our pants. The S hits the fan. We're going to go into panic mode. We never got the lesson. It's going to be a mess, right? So it's important for me to keep taking in the lessons, to keep learning, right? To keep expanding on myself. But at the same time, this is about my brand. I'm building a brand, right? Building a brand is my joy in my life, right? And it might be only a hobby. I don't think it is, right? Because I'm preparing for something bigger, but it doesn't mean the bigger is going to happen. But it also doesn't mean that I'm going to stop preparing myself, because if I'm not preparing myself for something amazing in this life, I am preparing myself for something amazing in the next. 100%. Yeah, I have to gargle. I'll gargle with some salt water too. I Somebody told me too, if you take a spoonful of vinegar, that helps too. Taking a spoonful of vinegar. But yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that 100%. I'll do Mary Kay. I'll Google with some warm salt water. Why? Because I trust healthcare 100%. And it's a remedy. It's a home remedy. It's not medication. It's not chemicals that are going into the system. It's not going to be harmful in any way, except it's going to boost the salts. And I could probably do with a little bit more salt and truth in my system 100%. But we're only goggling, but a little bit will get absorbed through the skin 100%. Okay, back down here, going through the comments here. Are you kidding me? Holy moly, Mary Kate. That would scare me. To see maggots in my flesh, that would scare me, because maggots only go in rotting flesh, right? That means black flies have laid eggs in your wound, right? Isn't that what it means? Yeah, that the flies landed in your open sore and laid eggs, and that's what the maggots are. They're the larvae. Wow, that is scary. That is scary. Yeah, self-diagnosing if you really feel ill, if you have a problem. I mean, definitely maggots in a sore is serious. I saw maggots in my sore. But then again, when I came into my live today, when I came in, oh, thank you, Mary Kay. I just got that like on my Instagram there. But look at that bruise. Isn't that just a crazy bruise? Look at it. It's going yellow now. I can see the yellow going now. So I guess that's as big as this bruise is going to go. It's a funny bruise because look at it. It's kind of got a bruise off to the side. Maybe it was some kind of shelf or something that I banged into, and then it had something protruding in it. But yeah, that is, I haven't had a bruise like that in years. That's the craziest bruise. Any, you got a solution for my bruise, Mary Kay? I'd be interested in that. And good inserts in your shoes, Andrew. You know, when my feet went bad on me, when I had that tendicitis, it went on for 9 months. It was so bad. I couldn't even stand. I couldn't lay down. I couldn't do anything. I almost had to quit my job. The paint department had to buy me a special pair of shoes so that I could be at work, right? And 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 what was I going to say about that? About the special shoes. About, oh yeah, about the exercises I was taking. I used a golf ball for the palm of my feet. I used a can of Campbell's soup, and I rolled the can of Campbell's soup under my feet when I was at my desk and everything. I was working my brand at the time. Oh no, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. I was doing cafeteria work at that time. No, I wasn't. I wasn't on the road. I was still exploring and I was still on the road, but I didn't start my YouTube channel, but I was doing my camping and all that stuff. I just wasn't filming it. Oh, I'm glad. Well, it's nice of you to say, right? Because that will make me feel better about the situation. But he is a regular customer. Like I said, he comes in a couple of days. I was talking about Owen's comment about how I handled it with finesse, this gentleman who got argumentative with me today, right? And we give him lots of deals. He's in there twice a day, and I think he sells the stuff or something, and he gets such great deals. And he is a very nice guy, but he's a very nice guy for a reason, right? He's looking for good deals, right? He's looking for good deals. And I'm not somebody who can be bought. I can't be bribed, right? I'll be your friend. I'll give you a good deal if I think something is unreasonably priced or you've spent lots of money during I get deals. I'm not a chintz. And this, and it's not like, my boss has said, Cindy, if you need to take $5 off a chair, or you need to take $5 off a dresser, you do that. If it means making the sale, you go ahead and you do that. But when you keep giving somebody, these deals, and not $5 but $10, or something so ridiculously low, and you're doing that numerous times a day, and that person comes back to you and gives you heck because you won't give them another deal, right? Be grateful for the deals that you do get and just be thankful for that, right? Don't ruin a friendship. Don't ruin the possibilities of the deals that I would have given in the future, because how many deals do you think I'm going to give in the future? Zero. I'm not giving him any more deals. He can go talk to a manager, and through the manager's approval, I will give him his deals. But I can't have him doing that and doing that in front of my customers too, because the next thing you know, I'll have every single customer wanting a deal, haggling with me, and I don't like haggling. I don't like haggling at all. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I just put some hydrogen peroxide on a little cut. I got some kind of paper cut or something. See it on my finger there? So I just squirted some hydrogen peroxide on my finger. It stung for about a minute and then it went away. But these days I want to make sure that I'm right, especially when I got a sore throat. And this sore throat, like I said, I've got the heat cranked now. I got 2 heaters over my bed. I sleep all night with this dry heat blowing in my face, plus my fan, right? Plus I'm working every day, putting in extra hours. Plus I'm trying to do my 12 days of forgiveness, and I'm on day number 2, and it's been a week, but that's okay. We got 10 more days of forgiveness, and it'll go. If it goes right into March when I'm still doing this, it's still going to go into March, and it's going to be fantastic. What have you been thinking of my post, Mary Kay, on my Instagram, on my working with Kathy? Kathy is Sassy Colors. She came in tonight. She was here for a little bit earlier, and yeah, that's Sassy. She does the adult coloring, and after I'm done after I've got my 12 done, because I'm doing one at a time, right? Unless I have lots of spans a day off together, then I'll do them. I'll concentrate 100%. But I still have a few more presents to do. I have to get the house ready for Christmas, because once I go back to work, I work right through until Christmas Eve, and then I'm off Christmas Eve at 4:00 in the afternoon. At 5:00 in the evening, my sister comes over, drops her stockings off. By 7:00, I'm with you, right, for Christmas Eve. We're gonna have our Christmas Eve party, and then I get 4 days off. 4 days off for Christmas, and then my schedule goes back to normal. So it's going to work out just fine for me, right? I love working. I love staying busy, but I would like to have more of a say in what I stay busy. And I think 4 days at my job is good. And my boss had a good discussion. She said, "You want full time, right? What do you want to do with the hours?" Says, "I'm good. I'm good with my 4 days. I'm good with my 4 days, especially now that I have my pension. I can spend that time," I told her, "working on my brand." She doesn't watch any of my lives or anything. She doesn't. Well, she knows I work my brand. She doesn't really understand when I say work my brand. She really doesn't understand what I'm talking about, because she doesn't know. She know. Well, she doesn't know about my live shows that I do every day, or my YouTube channel and stuff. She knows I make explore videos, but she's not interested. She's got her own life, right? She's got her own life. So she's not watching my content at all. Oh my goodness, Andrew. Oh, thank you, Mary Kay. I will do that. I don't have any ice, but I've definitely got a bag of frozen pierogies or frozen peas or something in my freezer that I'll slap on that bruise right away. Yeah, I guess that's what it's doing, is my bruise is swelling. Oh my goodness. I never seen such a bruise. And I know, Mary Kay, you're saying, "Oh, that's nothing," right? And that has nothing. I can't imagine, right? I have lots of caregivers here on my channel. But for you in the emergency ward, the way you're doing, the way you work, like right? Whatever I have inside of you, sending you anything you need to make it so that your job is a little bit easier. And I hope you get all the good that you do, all those lives that you've changed, even if they don't appreciate it, that you did that you feel good about that, right? That, like I said, caregivers, they're automatically in. They're just in, right? God just set a place with them that they don't have to do anything, because they're caregivers. It's their nature. And I suspect that in every life you live, you will be a caregiver in some way. You will provide service in some way, somehow, 100%, right? Yeah, you got to dream big, right? You got to move forward. And like I said, that's what I think these people, when they get rude or mean, and there were moments when I was that person, so I can understand just even in myself, right? The unkindnesses that can come out of somebody's mouth without understanding what the other person is going through. in the moment. I remember one time I was going through the grocery checkout. I told this story one time. And I was in a bad mood. Honestly, I don't even know what it was about. It was years ago, but I was in a bad mood. I came through and I'm watching the bagger, and she throws my onions on top of my loaf of bread, and she's just throwing heavy stuff on top of the light stuff. And I'm just watching her, and I'm just getting furious that I'm going to go home with bread that tastes like onions, and it's going to be all squashed, and my eggs are going to be broken. And I'm going, what are you doing? And I just took the bags away from her. I said, let me do that. I'll bag it myself. And I just rebagged all my, and she burst into tears. This girl, this bagger, she burst into tears, right? And the manager comes away and scurries her away, comes back, and he says to me, he says, so sorry, her grandmother died and we couldn't cover her shift, and she came into work today. Right? And we do these things because we think of how it impacts our life, our miserable lives. And then that poor woman, she got it from my bad mood or my bad day or whatever it was, right? But she was going through her own moment that she wasn't talking about, that I had no idea about, right? Because there's no way that she's going to express this to each customer that walks through her door. They're just all watching her the way she's bagging their groceries. And I had to open up my mouth and be that person to say something mean. And how do you think I felt about that, right? So we all backtrack. We all slip. We all slip and fall into old traits often, right? But we just got to remember to forgive ourselves. Like I'm forgiving myself with that episode. It's forgotten with. It's done with. And how he wants to carry on with that event, it's up to him when he sees me. When he comes in to the store, I'm going to make a purpose to say hi when he walks in the door. And how he interacts with me will dictate how we interact with each other in the future. But I'm not going to feel bad for a lesson that needed to be taught, right? And it needed to be taught by me because it was directed at me. So I was the perfect teacher for that lesson. So he knows to maybe think twice before he goes to somebody else to wheel and deal. And if he doesn't get that deal, that person's going to get a piece of their mind, right? Right? So hopefully he's doing the same thing, and I'm sure he is, because on the whole, on the norm, he's a nice guy. But again, it's what he does, right? That he went home and he's had a few moments himself to think about it. Okay. Is that the way we're going to end our Sunday, everybody? Is that the way we're going to end our Sunday? But yeah, hydrogen peroxide, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait for the test, and then I'm going to follow the directives of whatever they say. If the test comes out negative, then I'm just going to take I'll take a capsule, because I do keep cold capsules for bad colds. And this is my first cold in, I'm going to have to say 2.5 years, maybe 3 years. I had a really bad one before the coronavirus started, but I would say it was at least a half a year or a year before that. And I had a really, really bad cold. So I do have some capsules, so I will take capsules if they say it's good. But if it happens to be worse than that, then I'll follow those directives to the T, 100%, because like I said, I believe in cause and effect, and I do not want to be responsible. So if necessary, I'll just have my groceries delivered to my apartment. I'll take some time off work, because you'll have to, right, until I'm better, and then concentrate on the lessons, concentrate on my 12 days of forgiveness, turn my situation into a lesson, right? And then when that lesson is learned, right, if I get that negative test, I'm going to go in and I'm going to get a booster shot. I think a booster shot would do me well. I think maybe these are the serendipities that I need to pay attention to, right? Hopefully everything is good, that I didn't work today and get anybody sick. I tried to stay on my own for the most part. I had to give directives, and I did have to cover for breaks, but I used the hand sanitizer. I wore my face mask. I kept my distance, and I'm sure everything is okay, but there are no guarantees. And I want to be an example to other people out there to stay safe and to keep others safe, right? And again, being somebody who believes in cause and effect, I do not want to be the person that makes somebody else even be sick and let them have the worries that it could be something more than just the dry heat from the furnace or just a regular cold, right? It's been so long that I've had a cold that I actually become a little bit uh I'm not a crybaby when I get sick, but I do dwell on it quite a bit because I don't like feeling unwell because I don't feel unwell very often. So maybe this is just a reminder for myself, but if it is just a reminder, I will be going for a booster shot 100%. Okay, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Nancy, for popping in. I hope everybody has an amazing, amazing week. I hope we get to see each other. Is it next Friday night, right? Next Friday night, we're going to hang out together for a little while for Christmas Eve. You get to watch me eat mincemeat pie. Now, I got to be better because, Cindy doesn't let a mincemeat pie go to waste because it's only something I get once a year, right? And that's on Christmas Eve. And my sister makes those Christmas pies for me special every single year. Okay, everybody, we didn't miss our live tonight, and that would have been absolutely terrible if that had happened, right? And it very easily could have. I'm thank goodness, right, that somebody gave my sister a kick in the butt to come down and knock on my door and remind me that it was YouTube night. It was only because I picked those extra shifts up, right? I came home from work, and I think my day is done at work, when truly it wasn't, right? And we did our live and I had fun anyway, right? And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some ice on my arm, and I'm going to gargle some salt water and then make myself a cup of coffee. Because my coffee is cold. I haven't had a chance to drink it, and I do need some fluids. I have been talking an awful lot today, and I'm going to take care of myself for the next couple of days. And they're really fast. I'll have my results for the tests, I think within 24 hours, 100%. And I'll be sure to let everybody know one way or another whether it was good. Maybe I'll leave it in my community comments. I'll leave something. Yeah. Okay, everybody. We'll see you on Friday. Have a great Christmas week. Have a wonderful Christmas week. Pick up a few treats for yourself to celebrate on your own. Even if you don't celebrate Christmas, maybe you want to pick up a few treats for yourself anyway and celebrate your own little holiday. 100%. Okay, everybody. Have a great night. And Mary Kay, we'll see you tomorrow morning. Kathy, we'll see you tomorrow morning on my Instagram. 11 a.m. Central is when I'll be going live. And then right after that, I guess I'll be heading down to get my test done. Gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, everybody. Have a great night. See you Friday. Bye-bye.